Hey guys, what is up? It is me, Pagey, here once again with another video on just the Arrowverse and DC TV as a whole. So, of course, one of the bigger pieces of entertainment news, I guess you'd call it, to come out over the past few months roughly, with this I think coming out at the end of last year, or maybe it was really early into this year. I can't remember time. Anyway, confuses me. But most of you would have heard it already, or either read the article yourself or articles yourself, or just heard it through other means. And that was, of course, the announcement that both Warner Media and Viacom CBS, who just recently changed their name to Paramount, were looking to sell the majority shares of the CW to another bidder. With both Warner Media and now Paramount looking to keep minority shares in the CW, which would lead them to being major content providers or the main content providers for the CW after this sale. And this will be due to the fact that the most likely buyer, which is Nexstar, aren't a production house. They don't make original content. They just sort of own all these affiliate stations. So being the owner of the CW makes a lot of sense for everyone. So keeping Warner Media and Paramount would be important, as the CW as a network isn't what makes it worth buying and what makes it valuable. It's the content on the CW, all the shows that Warner Media makes, all the shows that now Paramount makes. Of course, there was the whole, let's be honest, clickbaity article title that went around without adding other context, which was the CW hasn't been profitable since it was made. But that's because it wasn't intended to be profitable, and they have said that themselves. Like, they're not, through the ads and stuff. They don't. That's not where they make the money. The content was profitable, and it's very profitable, and that's why someone would want to buy it. But one of the big questions around this sale is how, to a degree, Paramount Plus, but more importantly HBO Max, would react to this news. Would some of the shows on the CW that are tied to Warner Media move to HBO Max from the CW if they didn't think the CW, was like the best home or destination for the certain shows to be after this move happened, seeing they wouldn't be in partnership as majority shareholders anymore? Now, the easy answer to this in my eyes was, well, probably not, because there would probably be some battles that would start due to the point I brought up earlier, where the CW is valuable because of its content. You buy it because of the content and everything like that, not because of really anything else. And after this news came out within the past few months, there really hasn't been anything said from either Paramount or HBO Max, but that has now changed. So over the past week or so roughly, Casey Bloys, who is an executive over at HBO Max, I think he's like the head of content creation or something like that. Anyway, but he was talking about everything HBO Max and all the content on its way to the service in the foreseeable future. But what was brought up throughout this interview was Greg Berlanti and the DC stuff related to him, and then the big question around the CW and just what's going on over there. But let's go over both the questions relating to this. Peacemaker seems like it's broken through, and James Gunn has said he's already got other ideas for spin-offs. How is all the DC stuff being managed over there, since you've also got Berlanti's Green Lantern, plus other stuff that isn't tied into feature films? I can't read. One of the things that Ann Sarnoff has been big on is trying to make DC work in a more organized and integrated way. I wasn't there before, so I don't know how things were done, but since I started at HBO Max a year and a half ago, we spent a lot of time talking with Toby Emmerich, Warner Brothers Pictures chair, and Walter Hamada, president of DC Films, and Jim Lee at DC, and we're trying to be mindful about how all the pieces work together. In my estimation, it feels very well organized. That's something that was very important to Anne when she started a few years ago. And next up, speaking of Berlanti, could some of his the CWDC shows move to Max as originals if the Nexstar sale of the network does go through? We'll see what happens. I don't know in that sale what we're looking to do or not do, but those shows do really well when they come to HBO Max in a window deal. They're really well done and valuable shows to us. I'm not involved in the Nexstar or the CW negotiations or anything like that, so I don't really know. But generally speaking, the shows that Greg does for the CW are very valuable and perform well on HBO Max. So in regards to HBO Max, the vast majority of the DC content on there is either from the CW or they are like remnants of DC Universe, that the original streaming service that have now transferred over to being HBO Max originals. So Peacemaker coming out and being the true first HBO Max original DC show and being quite successful is a good sign. But the most popular DC show on HBO Max in 2021, where there were like new seasons of Doom Patrol and Titans released as well, was actually Superman and Lois, with Batwoman surprisingly coming in third as the most popular DC show, with I think it was Doom Patrol coming second. So the CW DC shows, as Casey Bloys did say in that interview, are popular and very valuable, to the service when they arrive after the seasons do end on the CW. Now, Stargirl was very popular after season 1, but season 2 didn't hit HBO Max until like I think around middle of December of 2021, so there was like 2 weeks there. So they don't really have stats for views for 2021 in regards to that because it was released so late. But due to all of this, you wouldn't think HBO Max and the people over there wouldn't be against taking in the shows from the CW that already go there after the season's end in a full-time role. Like they're the sole place to watch them. They debut on HBO Max in the United States at the very least. But as I said earlier, the CW's value comes with its content. So moving them, or at least having plans to move while the deal is still happening, could ruin said deal. But I mean, they are topping or towards the top of the charts already, even after they've aired on the CW and they come there months and months later. So you could argue that there is no need to fix what isn't broken. It might just come down to whether HBO Max thinks there is a need to improve it in a certain way, but that would come down to personal opinions. Because one of the big things is that a lot of people do like to binge watch. Now, I think releasing a show week to week is the better way to do it because it just creates, more discussion around the show because after an episode ends and you wait a week and the next episode airs and you repeat that process. But there is a large group of people that go, I'm just going to wait till the show ends and I can just watch it in one big go. So, that's probably why you get shows like Superman, Lois, and Batwoman topping it because people just watch it in a row and they don't fall off, while waiting a week. Like that might with Doom Patrol or Titans. It might be like, oh, whatever, and they forget about it. The shows are there to binge and they'll binge them and finish them. But one big thing that, I've talked to a couple of people, and this is the general understanding I've gotten from what people have said that know some stuff. And this isn't confirmed, by the way. This is just general stuff. However, there is sort of evidence to prove it based off what both, Warner Media does with their DC content. And that's that HBO Max is intended to be the home for the mature content. That doesn't mean, you have to be, you can only watch the CW stuff if you're under the age of 15. It's more like if there's, sex, over-the-top violence, swearing, cussing, everything, cursing, whichever way you want to put it, all that stuff. So mature content, stuff that would require parental supervision, if that makes sense, as well as stuff that's connected directly to the films. Like we saw with Peacemaker, we know there's going to be some spin-offs, or I think there's 2 confirmed spin-offs for the Batman movie, like a Penguin show and a Gotham PD show. So those are examples there. And then with the CW, and I guess with the HBO Max stuff, you can chuck in the very expensive content, but that's really going to be connected to the films anyway. Like the Green Lantern show, that's connected to the film universe as well. So mature content / film connected shows is where HBO Max is going to be the home of. And then with the CW, you get family friendly stuff and maybe just stuff that works and make it like a larger run, if that makes sense, like you see with the shows at the moment. So that doesn't mean they're 22 episodes because we haven't had a 22 episode season for any show for a few years now. But it means you go 13 to 15 or 16 episodes, like most of these shows do, while the HBO Max stuff is 8 to 10 in a lot of cases. But the main thing is, as I said, the CW is family friendly, and you see that with all the shows. Doesn't mean they can't have some different tones and some darkness. It's just that not everyone, you don't get people dropping an F-bomb or whatever it might be, like a see you next Tuesday all the time. So that's what, the differentiating content is and where it lies. Now, one of the big issues that could lie here with this whole thing that's going on with the Next Star is actually lying with 2 shows, The Flash and Legends. The thing with that is that Legends is probably heading into its final season. I think everyone's been saying that for the past 3 years, that Legends is heading into its final season. But it's a show that could honestly go 20 seasons just because they just make it up on the spot. I'm pretty sure what's going on in that show. But Flash and Legends still have their ties to Netflix. Every other DC show on the CW is connected to HBO Max. Superman and Lois, Batwoman, Stargirl, Naomi, and then obviously we have Gotham Knights coming up. And even if that Justice U Diggle show gets picked up, it goes to HBO Max after the season. Legends and Flash still go to Netflix. Did I say Netflix for Justice U? But they all go to HBO Max, and then Flash and Legends go to Netflix still. That deal still exists. I'm not too sure what happens, years down the track in 5 years or something, where the HBO Max will be able to get not only Flash and Legends, but Arrow, Supergirl, Black Lightning, all those shows, and they're moving to HBO Max. I'm not too sure what the deal is, but at least at the moment, while Flash and Legends are still running, they go to Netflix. So that's like the only issue I think that exists at the moment with the Arrowverse and, you know, the ties to HBO Max, is that two shows and, you know, the most well-known show of The Flash isn't connected to HBO Max. And that could be a reason why they wouldn't be thinking about moving anything, because you just got two outliers there, one of which is, well, the most popular show that really the CW's had. But of course, like, the elephant in the room is that I already said that Legends might be moving into its final season, but The Flash, you know, we got season 8, but season 9 could be the final season. So it might just be a wait till Flash and Legends end their run, and then they make some sort of deal there with the remaining shows and HBO Max and everything like that. But this whole thing, I'm assuming, at least, will probably become more clear over the next like 6 to 12 months. You'd hope 6 months, just so there's no, like, you know, constant wondering about it, but you could say 6 to 12 months or something like that. Especially, if or when the deal with Nexstar goes through. I'm not too sure what's going to happen if the deal with Nexstar falls apart. I'm not too sure what potentially happens there. Nexstar is the most, the most suitable suitor, I guess you could say, or buyer for this deal. So if it doesn't work out with them, I'm not too sure what's going to happen, whether Warner Media and Paramount just decide to keep it maybe and just stick around with it. That's a wait and find out, because I know where they'd go if Nexstar doesn't want to go through with it. But of course, that's a wait and see, as we usually do say. But thanks for watching, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, it'd be awesome if you could drop a like on it to show your support. Let me know in the comments section down below your various opinions about everything we went over in this video. And of course, if you are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe, and I'll catch you guys later. Goodbye.